Hello, everyone. My name is Saket, and this is the Design Podcast. Because of each and every one of your support, we have reached a 1000 subscriber mark. Well, today we have a very special guest, and we'll be talking about a discipline which is very less known. It's new media design. It's less known, but its application are almost seen everywhere. In fact, experience design is kind of a part of that discipline. And to talk about it, we have even more special guest. His name is Nikhil Joshi. He's a co-founder of a new media design company called as Digital Jalebi. They have worked with very well-known clients like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, even with government. He'll be taking us through his journey of last 1 decade. Very naive idea of starting something around new media. And after 10 years, how they landed up with two offices in Delhi and Bangalore. And they are working on an exciting project for creating a metaverse, a Web3 project for ESPN. He'll be taking us through all that. We have also talked about how design business skills are not being taught in colleges. What is the future of metaverse? What will happen to crypto, blockchain, and things like that? This is a fully power packed podcast. I recommend you to watch till the end, and I hope you enjoy. So let's start. Hello, Nikhil. Welcome to the Design Podcast. It's absolutely my pleasure to have you here. हम लोग शायद 10 साल के बाद में बात कर रहे हैं
Correct.
and
My bad.
and things have changed actually from that time. No, I remember आप फवाद के साथ और चयन के साथ बैठ के डिजिटल जलेबी की कुछ बातें करते थे. You were my senior from the college. After 10 years, you have like client like biggest names in the industry like Google, Microsoft, and recently you're working with ESPN for their Metaverse project. And you have two studios, one in Bangalore, one in Delhi, and more than 60 people as your employees. So,
Correct.
so things have gone crazy for you guys. How does it feel?
It feels good. First of all, thank you for inviting me to such an interesting opportunity. हाँ means बहुत time हो गया. I think we spoke after 10 years and things
Right.
have completely changed for us from being a couple of just young design grads or the plan of starting a studio back in 2012 when entrepreneurship was also not that famous in India. From there,
True.
setting up a proper stable design studio, and that too in a very niche category which is experiential design. uh, it has been a roller coaster journey, pura ka pura, and we've enjoyed it thoroughly. Primarily now Fawaz and I run Digital Jalebi, and I take the lead in the Noida Delhi office, and Fawaz takes the lead in Bangalore office. And
Okay.
happy to take you through our journey today.
Crazy. So, give us a glimpse of like last 10 years, what and all happened. Like from that, very naive initiative of starting something around new media, which was like fairly new at that time. I think
Hmm,
even today, the awareness about new media is fairly less. So,
correct.
from that naive initiative, then completely setting up a studio, then forming a company, how was all that experience?
Okay, so it all started in 2012. There was this
Okay.
idea when we were just graduating that let's start a studio. And at that time, the idea was more uh, inclined towards avoiding to get into a job structure and then doing something on our own, then actually starting a business and earning a lot of money. Both I and
Okay.
Fawaz were very anti-job jobs at that time, and we didn't sit into all these placement weeks that happened. So that was the idea, and we thought the way we explored our in the education, the way we explored exhibits and all, we thought we get a lot of work in museum design in India, because India has hundreds of
Okay.
museums, and most of them are run by
Hmm.
government. And one of our first projects, commercial projects, was kind of a grant by NID to us, where they gave us an opportunity to design a Vishwasharya Science and Technology Museum in Bangalore. So it was like our
Wow.
seed,
Okay.
seed money. So 3.5 lakh rupees for a month-long job, designing interactive
Oh,
exhibits on Ramanujam, the mathematician. Like there was a traveling
wow.
exhibit that we were designing, and we thought this is really good. You can work for a month, earn a couple of lakhs, and there's so many government museums we can keep going on to pitch to them, and things will work out. But then we actually started around 2013 starting, when formally we
Hmm.
came back to Delhi and Bangalore and started thinking of what to do next. We realized the museum approach doesn't work. We actually realized it over a long period of time. Next 1.5 years, we kept working for a lot of museums. We didn't understand how tendering works, how licensing works in government, what all intricacies there
Mm.
are, how the setup, how do you actually approach a government agency, how the commitments
Wow.
are made, and how do they leverage you as young designers. Uh, so yes, it was a tough learning, and around
Mm-hmm.
2014 mid, we were 100% sure that museums not gonna work. Though museums present amazing opportunity for design, there is a powerful story, there's a good space, there's hundreds of people
Mm-hmm.
actually coming into the spaces, but there were no budgets. And when you talk about any kind of
Okay.
digital installation exhibits, it starts with couple of lakhs. It can't be less than that, because you want to buy a PC or
Mm.
a computer. It's not just a print like a graphic design, communication design thing. That's a
Right.
huge barrier. And in government, any kind of procurement process, the choosing process, granting a project is a very long affair, is a controversial and long
Okay.
affair most of the time. So we left that, and by the
Okay.
mid of 2014 we started realizing that brands have a lot of money that they spend on something
Mm.
called BTL activations, which is below the line activations, which happens on roadsides, which happens inside malls. These are activities that brands do to engage customers who are on ground, who are not sitting on a
Okay.
computer, who are not actually
Mm.
traveling, who are not in a transit space, who are there in front of a retail showroom or inside a retail mall and stuff. And then we
Wow.
started leveraging that opportunity. They were already spending a lot of money. We started working with brands like Jabong. At that time, I also worked with Taj Vivanta. They were trying to set up an
Wow.
experience zone in their hotels. So yes, brand engagement uh, using interactive technologies was fairly new, and this was a time when there was no augmented reality, then there was no virtual reality. In 2013-14 mid, there was no virtual reality, augmented reality, which is predominantly the understanding of this industry right now. What do
Mm.
you do in experiential? We do AR, VR. We do augmented virtual reality, content development, app development,
Right.
and all. So it's very difficult. But yes, slowly, slowly we understood how pitching works, where you should go. But our complete focus from that point of time for the next 5 years have been corporate world, have been commercial companies, and we've worked with
Mm-hmm.
multitudes of clients. We've worked with defense companies like DRDO. We've worked with NGOs like Bill and Melinda Gates, Tata Trust, uh, you name
Wow.
it. Like there's so many in NGO sector. Then we work with cloud software companies like HCL, Capgemini, Google
Mm.
Cloud, Amazon. Then we've worked with retail brands, clothing brands. We worked with FMCG brands. Every industry has a demand for brand engagement, and every
Mm.
industry is looking at some kind of technology-driven brand engagement. The two core pillars that they really like about digital brand engagement is ROI calculation. You exactly know what happened. You're able to. So if I just put up a very good looking poster or a physical sculpture
Mm.
in a mall, I will not be able to tell how many people actually looked at it or how many people
Correct.
went past it. But in a
Wow.
digital
Yeah.
exhibit, the ROI is there. And the second thing is, you are able to, whatever you invest in as a software, you're able to retain
Mm.
it. You're able to enhance it every year or every month,
Right.
whatever you want to do, which doesn't happens in a physical exhibit or an activity or a grand large scale thing you're wanting to do. So yes,
That
in
analytics is not available basically.
yes, that
Like what is
digital only
happening?
gives you that power. Digital only gives you, it allows you to identify the pattern ki yaar North India mein this activity is working, but
Mm.
exactly similar activity doesn't work in South India. There has to be something. The ROI is lets you, ROI analytics insights helps you understand what's happening with your brand engagement, how people are reacting. Once you
Correct.
have those insights, you can improve. So this happened for
Mm.
next 5 years, but then we diversified also. We went into, we do a lot of web apps now, which are on experiential tangent, which means that we try and build apps that are more interesting and engaging while you interact with it.
Mm-hmm.
Then we build a lot of VR AR apps where and these apps are used for industry training purposes. So if you're in automotive sector, so if tomorrow Bajaj on a assembly line wants to train people, and if there is a
Mm.
mistake on the assembly line, it's a huge cost. So can they simulate the
Right. Yeah.
entire assembly line in VR and allow people to actually
Mm.
complete task, and also ascertain whether that particular person is good enough for him to introduce to a physical assembly line? Like you can have him on the physical assembly line joining some parts or something. So these kind of tools we
Mm.
build. And then we do a lot of museums also, which are historical museums. Now after so many years, we learned how to actually get into government projects, how to actually pitch for tenders, how to win huge ticket sizes and all. Uh, and then a lot of NGO work. When we say NGO, these are social sector organizations that are trying to built capacity, that are trying to communicate better about problems in, say, labor management, pregnancy and labor
Hmm.
management, then are about diarrhea. It's around cardiopulmonary resuscitation, which is how to impart CPR to someone. And these are various topics. Then we've worked with something like diabetes, how to take care of a diabetes patient. So these are various topics where they invest their money, and agencies like us sort of give them interesting tools, more experiential, powerful tools to engage their end customers, which could be doctor. I won't say customers,
Hmm.
engage their end partners, because these are social sector organizations. They are not trying to leverage anything. But yes,
Right.
they help develop more capacity, more understanding. And the last important thing about our solutions that we offer is engagement. So we
Hmm.
try and engage you with our solution so that there is a higher recall value, so that you remember what happened. So you went through one of our websites that we built, you went through one of our exhibits, you went through one of our VR applications. You will remember that I saw something which was very interesting, that I had to do something physically there. Like there is an interaction
Right.
that was expected. That's like the core competency we have. We build more engaging applications that has good true value for our customers. It's not like the fancier things just marketing में कर दिया फिर भूल गए. वैसा नहीं है. Like every project that Digital Jalebi is now doing has a business value. It's somewhere positioned around the core business uh, targets that our customers have, and that you can see
Hmm.
across our work also. So yeah, largely 10 years. We started with 2 people, 2012 end November types. Now we are 60 people, 2022 end types, and with
Wow.
2 offices, and yeah, hundreds of clients, satisfied clients. And it's just starting for us. The way I look at business, the way things have changed in digital, the way world is working towards digital, with all the interesting things like AI, blockchain, metaverse, AR, VR, and so many, so and so forth. I think the dominance of digital agencies will be huge into providing very, very unique solutions to end customers, which could be a housewife, which could be a manager sitting in office, which could be a bureaucrat, which could be anyone. Like all these are target audience
Right.
for us. So yes, next decade, I hope we reach 1,000 people.
You will, you will. Wow. Actually, it's just been 5, 6 minutes, but I am already mind blown with whatever you are talking about. Because, there are so many things. As in, right now, we were in that transition, right? From physical to digital. Many people, few years back, were saying that everything is now digital. Now I see future is going to be digital for every obvious reason, right? And what you said, the benefits of digital marketing and advertising.
I'll tell you a interesting example. So you go to a physical mall. The only data
Huh,
that they have is how many people entered the physical mall, or maybe
enter.
entered a
Of
showroom. Nobody knows how many people went past a particular showroom. Nobody knows how many people peeped into the showroom, did window shopping. That's such an important piece of data for a brand, because they might
exactly.
they
Yeah.
might think that they're losing on their efforts, but maybe there are hundreds of people that are looking like doing window shopping with them and not actually entering the showroom. This insight would really
Right.
help them to work on their window display and everything. But this is not possible in the physical world, the way things are right now. But yes, virtual malls, using virtual reality, metaverse, people are building these virtual showrooms and everything. Even gazing at
Of
something
course.
can give you data, which can't happen in a real world. Like eye gazing at something, eye gazing
Exactly.
at the bottle behind you, you will never know that I'm gazing at that. But in a
Right.
virtual world, when you're a virtual avatar, I literally know everything about what you're looking at, and that is really important piece of insight. Data is the next
Hmm.
goal. Data is the gold right now. Actually, it's not the next gold;
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
the gold. Insightful data really helps people make future decisions.
Right. Another interesting thing for me was that when you started talking about that brand engagement, we are moving into the world that every person is going to have a brand for himself, right? Like with this Web3 metaverse happening, like if you go to social media also, every person's profile is like his brand
Correct.
image, right?
Correct.
And everyone in today's time needs some kind of brand promotion, brand engagement. And the best part about your industry, I think the new media as such, is that you are not specifically limited to one product. For example, I'm an automobile designer, and that too a motorcycle designer, so my strengths are limited to one product,
Correct.
right? But when it comes to you, you can provide your services to an automobile company, to a digital company, to someone like Google, a fashion company. Everyone is going to require your services. And I think that's something, gives you an idea of the scale that you are targeting. And I am not like, I won't be shocked, as in the way you said that another decade you will have thousands of clients. I won't be surprised that number will cross like 10,000 or 1 lakh, because there's going to be so much
I
demand
I
for all
I
this.
hope so, but true. Every brand either requires digital or realizing how they have to, and even after pandemic this has accelerated by 5 years actually. What was meant to
Right.
happen by 2025-26 had just happened in 2022, 21, 22. And every brand is realizing, uh, do they have a digital infrastructure? Can they run their entire processes either autonomously or digitally? Can they have their
Hmm.
employees sitting remotely? Can they have their production lines run by robots? They're all thinking about that, because if tomorrow, by any, and we've seen that with pandemic, if by any reason you can't move out of your house, would the business stop? Now there is no stopping, because we've learned the lesson
Exactly.
in the last pandemic. And every company is now investing or building products that will make their uptime to 100%, even if things stop at any point of time. Or sirf wo, that's not just happening for the people who work on laptops and desktops, the managerial people. Every industry is trying to build assembly lines, production lines, so that they can just be controlled by a couple of people, even that remotely, using
Hmm.
robots and everything. So this is going to be huge. A huge con for all of this is that a lot of people are going to lose their jobs, and this is happening 100% with AI, with robotics, with smarter, with more powerful communication. Now India has 5G
Hmm.
connectivity. A lot of uh, job roles, industries will go away completely. There's no need
Hmm.
for those. I'll give you a very, very basic example in my business. uh, a large part of projects that we do in communication design requires voiceovers. For the
Hmm.
last 6 months, we have stopped using any kind of voiceover artist. We just use AI voiceovers, and our clients are
Right.
okay with that, completely okay with that. So
Right.
that entire industry, it's a very, very small industry, but it's a great example that entire industry is now gone. For me, in another year or two, there won't be voiceover artists. There could be Amitabh Bachchan and all, and even Amitabh Bachchan's voice, you can train a model. So Amitabh Bachchan can train a model, take a IP of that, and just give a license to anyone. You can feed in lines. He doesn't need to go to a studio or even spend a
Hmm.
minute of his lifetime. He can just have that auto bot that has been trained on his model, voice model, and it will generate all the lines, everything.
Oh, crazy, actually, though. Wow, awesome, man. It's already opening up so many provocative thoughts. Like, we already started discussing about so many things. Let's pull this discussion back a little,
Hmm,
and for those people who are like absolute beginner in this design community, or for example, new media. Can you elaborate this field of new media design? Because you graduated from NID.
hmm,
That time it was new media design. Now there are so many things happening. Immersive design and UI UX design has become a phenomenon,
hmm.
recent times. So tell us very simply, what is this field altogether, new media design?
Okay, so I would say new media is an umbrella, a term for understanding how to design experiences across media. When we say media, it could be video, film, it could be
Hmm.
general graphic poster design, it could be sound, it could be different modalities, it could be even for touch, tactile. So new media largely encapsulates everything, different medias present, and when you're trying to design experiences with that. Uh,
Right.
Having said that, today a more acceptable term is experience design. I personally, this is a very confusing world. It will still take us 5-10 years to actually everyone to agree which field is what. But if you say from my experience, the best term is experience design, because what we are trying to do with user interface, user experience, interaction design, product design, is build and design experiences. I want you to feel comfortable, you have trust in the product. So building that feeling in the product, any product, digital product, physical product, physical
Hmm.
installation, sculpture, is experience design primarily. So if somebody
Right.
asks me what's the larger and proper term to sort of uh, uh, demarcate this entire design field, is experience design. But today experience
Hmm.
design is it's more related to digital design, like digital experience design. And under that, user experience design today is more related to devices we use, So if tomorrow
Hmm.
virtual reality headsets or augmented reality headsets become the mainstream, then user experience design will also cover that. But right now it's more about mobile devices, laptops, desktop UIs, and everything.
Exactly.
uh, this field primarily wants you to understand basic human psychology. It wants you to understand what people like, what people don't like. It wants you to understand how your mind thinks about uh, approaching a product, approaching a button. So if I use my mouse right
Hmm.
now, they want you to first understand how you have learned to use the mouse. Then they want you to understand why would you click on a particular button. Do you
Wow.
like the color? Do you like the height of the button? Do you like the shape and size of the button? So answering these questions is actually not answering, actually deciphering these questions, and then building an experience designer's job. If he wants you to click a button, he'll make sure that you click the button. If he wants you to use
Hmm.
something comfortably, he'll make something as simple as a mouse. If he wants you to make things difficult, maybe there is a knob or a lever that he doesn't want you to touch, then he make it difficult. So the experience that he is designing, and then there are tools and tricks. There are UI design principle, there are user experience principle for interfaces, not in general. Then there are
Hmm.
user experience design principle for products also, like and there's so many things, there's so many, but primarily all of this comes under, for me this is largely psychology, color psychology, shape form psychology, general human psychology.
Wow.
उसके अंदर सब आता है, और there is no quick way of learning this. I have done very shabby work in terms of exhibition design, digital exhibition space, and we've learned through our mistakes. We build exhibits. We saw ये तो बहुत सही है in the studio, everything's great. But when we actually went out, and common people at that time who didn't even use mobile phones, and I'm talking about 2012,
Hmm.
13, we used to understand इनको तो समझ ही नहीं आ रहा, हमने तो बटन सामने ही बनाया है. And mera
Right.
my experience is more towards spatial exhibits, spatial digital
Hmm.
exhibits, rather than mobile devices based UI UX and all. So I
Right.
learned a lot about how people approach digital screens, large digital screens, how they approach exhibits, sculptures and all, how they move past it, what attracts them, what is the role of audio, how do people
Hmm.
when they are in a group act react. So if you go on to interact with something, couple of friends who are standing beside you, what will they do you design for them
Hmm.
also? So अभी तुम्हारे पास एक exhibit है और 70 लोग खड़े हैं. How do you make sure that each one of them has something in the exhibit? Because only 2 3 or maybe 10 people can interact, every person is taking 10 minutes. तो 1.5 घंटा तो ऐसे ही
Correct.
निकल गया, 1.5 घंटा तो खड़े नहीं रहेंगे. So उस
हाँ.
point पे if there are 70 people in the public space, which is common in India, 70 क्या
Yeah.
700 भी हो सकता है.
हाँ.
How do
बहुत.
you design? So my learnings of user experience design in space are more about how to handle multiple layers of people. सो साकेत
Hmm.
गया एग्जिबिट को इंटरेक्ट करने, साकेत के लिए यूजर एक्सपीरियंस क्या होगा? फिर साकेत के जो दोस्त खड़े हैं पीछे 10 फीट दूर,
हाँ.
उनके लिए क्या होगा? एंड देन देर आर
Correct.
पीपल हु आर लुकिंग एट दिस एग्जिबिट फ्रॉम 200 फीट, बिकॉज दे जस्ट एंटर्ड द मॉल, उन्हें भी तो बुलाना है इस एग्जिबिट की तरफ, उनके लिए यूजर. सो द सेम यूआई caters to 3 levels of people.
Hmm.
And this has come from observation. That's why I'm coming from that point. There is no quick learning in any kind of user experience design. Spending a couple of years learning how people interact with digital objects, वो that's like the fundamental for me. Like that's the actual education. Design education आपको सिर्फ sensitize करती है. Like they make you understand that there is something called user experience design. They don't
Hmm.
teach you for user experience design. अगर ये कोई बोल रहा
Right.
है कि उसने कॉलेज से यूएक्स सीख लिया, ऐसा तो ट्रू नहीं है, मेरे लिए ट्रू नहीं है.
Hmm.
I think you only get to know that there are these design fields, and you get a very basic exposure. कि तुमने इलेक्ट्रॉनिक सीख लिया,
Hmm.
ऐसे एग्जांपल दूं ना, you will become a good furniture designer when people will start liking your chair and furniture. But for that you have to
Hmm.
learn tools, लकड़ी कैसा होता है, कील कैसे मारना है, कैसे रेंदा
Exactly.
मारना है, जो भी करना होता है, करेक्ट. वो कॉलेज सिखाता है कि चेयर बनाओ, बट चेयर को बाहर ले
Hmm.
जाके बाजार में बेचना, बार बार फीडबैक लेना, वो कुछ साल लगते हैं. Once you
वो
understand
कॉन्शियस
that,
अंडरस्टैंडिंग बिल्ड
yes,
करने के लिए
yes,
टाइम लगेगा. एंड
और
यू विल हैव
हाँ,
टू गो थ्रू दैट ग्राइंड.
yes, everyone. So that also means that not everybody has to go to a design school. The real teaching is out there in the real world. If you are
राइट.
sensitive towards design, just by learning exposure, आपका बड़ा भाई डिजाइनर था, आपको थोड़ा समझ में आ गया,
Hmm.
then the real experience of a good designer is out there. Real teachers are out there, real exposure is out there. You have to just constantly be very aware of picking up things, and then
Wow.
experience design happens.
Crazy, but as in it's a beautiful articulation and explanation of what new media is, and it seems like it's a very big umbrella,
Very umbrella.
and there's so many verticals. But I understood that human psychology is quite an important aspect of it, and then providing deciphering,
Yeah.
like you explained, deciphering the psychology and behavioral pattern, and providing that particular experience so that you can create an experience for so many people, like you said, someone who is standing next to that installation, someone who is standing behind 10 feet, and someone who is like 200 feet. So you are basically targeting that experience for a scale, and and creating that is kind of a new media design. And and I think it's very difficult to coin that definition for new media design, but I think you gave a fair justification and explanation for all that.
Experience designing through across media is primarily new media for me.
New media
They're
design.
trying to build
Wow.
powerful experiences using different kind of medias is new
Hmm.
media.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, tell me something. Who should pursue this career of new design, new media design?
Anyone can pursue new media design. Actually, it is, I would say, so I had very poor hand skills, drawing वगैरह, painting वगैरह, color का. So
Okay.
from my perspective, anyone who has a little कीड़ा of experimenting, who's good with
Hmm.
hands on things, थोड़ा electronics करने का मन करता है, inquisitive about things, questions a lot of things, and who has very basic skills. Because when I came to NID, I saw people have fabulous skills. तुम्हारा automotive
Hmm.
में such fabulous skills, hand skills, and then fashion में देख लो, या टॉय में देख लो, हैंड स्किल्स हो गया, स्कल्पचर का स्किल्स हो गया. हमें तो,
Right.
मुझे तो कुछ भी नहीं आता था. बट येस, आई हैड दिस अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ इंटरेस्टिंग डिजिटल में क्या क्या हो रहा है, what you can do with
Hmm.
computers, what you can do with electronics. That used to really attract me. Then I learned about some amount of furniture, wood से काम कैसे होता है. So if you have interest across, again, media, wood is also
Hmm.
media. So if you,
Right.
if you have interest across media, then this is the right course, because it will really help you
Hmm.
of working, uh, working with several medias and bringing them together. I think bringing them together is the key. Because अभी तुम्हें wood
Hmm.
में बहुत लोग मिल जाएंगे. Every लकड़ी वाला that you find around in India is fabulous. NIT के किसी भी डिजाइनर से अच्छा काम करता है. Any लकड़ी वाला,
True.
ठीक है.
Yes.
Not to
Yes.
disrespect anyone, but the problem is he can't curate, he can't do that experience design thing, he doesn't know how to sell.
Exactly.
तो
Right.
bringing things together is a designer's job. और if you are doing things across media, कि मैं sound ले आया, visual ले आया, और मैं electronics ले आया, that is primarily new media.
Hmm. Awesome. And actually, I want to take a moment to, repeat the same thing because, Priyam was there
Hmm.
before few days on this design podcast. And he was also saying that. And, this is very common understanding of everyone,
Hmm.
like any aspiring student. They feel अगर design करना है तो एकदम फाड़ skills होने चाहिए, hand skills होने चाहिए, ये होना चाहिए, and then they give up at that point only. But I want to tell everyone that it is not like that. There are definitely certain industries like automobile industry where hand skills are important, but design in general, it's problem solving, and if you are able to solve those problems through any media, like other than sketching, so you can be a very good designer. And as you said, it's a combination of things. It's a assembly of craftsman and developer and executioner, and then providing that design thinking and providing that vision so that together you can drive your vision of that particular
No,
product is design.
and it's very important to realize, more than skills, like I was telling you yesterday also, more than skills, it's the appreciation for design. So if as a youngster
Hmm.
you like cars, you like bikes, you like furniture in your home, you appreciate leather that you wear, you
Hmm.
appreciate the clothing that you have, you try and look for those details, and you appreciate, oh, कितना अच्छा बनाया, कैसे बनाया होगा. I ask like a question in your mind. That appreciation, I think, is the cornerstone for a good designer, more than skills. Look,
Hmm.
skills can be developed over a period of time, but
Right.
what is more important is that if you're appreciating design around you, you will ask the right questions, and once you ask the right
Hmm.
questions, you have a lot of information that you can use to direct designer. अभी स्किल तो यार बहुत लोगों के पास होता है, उस स्किल को उसका बॉस ही बताएगा ना
होता
कि ये
है.
करना है. नहीं, in your industry I
Exactly.
would say a bike itself is new media design. A bike कम product design है पूरा का पूरा. Then
Hmm.
lifestyle accessory design है उसके comfort में, digital design
Yes.
है, screen डाल रहे हैं सारा का सारा, maybe some amount of
Exactly.
acoustic design कि कितना thrust, कितना आवाज आना चाहिए बाइक में, so that you feel macho and powerful and all. So it's not a simple design. It's not just automotive designer. It's a person
Yeah.
who's bringing 4 or 5 design disciplines together to build an experience which is a biking experience. आज के दिन
Hmm.
कोई प्रोडक्ट थोड़ी ना बेचता है. Every bike sells
Huh.
itself. Every bike, every
Experience.
car sells itself as
Yeah.
an experience. Off-roading
Yes,
experience.
yes.
जीत लो दुनिया, चेंज कर दो दुनिया. Exactly. तो
Precisely said.
वो
Actually,
समझना चाहिए.
people are selling the, yeah, people are like the way, the more I'm talking to you, I'm understanding this fact that nobody is selling a product. They are all selling the experience and the lifestyle which is going to be provided by that particular product. Like, so,
Correct.
so I think everything in today's time, it's around experience. So that is precisely very well articulated. And I think people who are curious enough to observe things around them, they all can pursue this field of new media design. Usually when you go to a very prestigious college like NID and all, every student dreams of, cracking that interview, campus interview, and getting that job with multi-lakh package and all. Okay, that is like every student's dream. That's what I have seen at least.
Correct.
But and this is again 10 years back when entrepreneurship was not celebrated like today. So in that time, when everybody, like everyone from your batch and everyone who were like sitting for campus interviews and all that, how did you and Fawaz decided to leave that rat race and start something of your own, which which was kind of risky at that time? So what was that thinking process?
I think first of all, the credit goes to our professor Jignesh Kakar. I think he, because when I came to NID, I was very underconfident. I didn't know how to speak
Okay.
in English. It was very difficult, and you have
Hmm.
so many NIFT grads around you, so you find yourself incapable of actually doing, because one, they understand design, they talk design, they have skills, and I had like nothing. Like I had some computer programming skills and all, but the kind of confidence he gave us of how to pursue design, believe in yourself. And I never thought in 1.5 years I would be able to build independent design exhibits. And when I saw it happening, we, at the time of college, we did this exhibit for IIM Ahmedabad that became really successful. And I realized, and there
Okay.
was a Delhi wala inside me. I understood some amount of business was always there, because you've grown up with Punjabis and all, you understand how business was. I was like this thing can sell 100%, why can't it sell? And I never thought that I would be
Hmm.
able to build something independent like this. Like, so I think it's a fair opportunity for me to go out and try and sell this. uh, yes, there were several times we felt that this is not the right uh, decision to take, because everybody, 10 years
Hmm.
back, people were getting 15 LPA, like that was a huge money. So
For sure.
but
Yeah.
but I think luckily at that time, somehow in my mind and both Fawaz's support, we never went down that road, and we kept pushing this. Thanks to again NID for giving us our first project, and we had the seed money. Because
Hmm.
of the seed money, we had like burn money to burn for next 4, 5, 6 months, which were very difficult initially. So things just happened. Yeah, some
Nice.
look, some amount of courage is required, a lot of luck is required, and then a lot of hard work is required. Everything is
Right.
required. Not, it's not just you, it's scenarios, situations that are around you. My parents supported me, siblings supported me, everybody
Hmm.
supported me, so somehow it it kept on happening. And by like for the next two
Hmm.
three years it was very difficult, like 2014, 15, 16, very very difficult. We used to just sit, like do just a couple of projects, like 5, 10 projects in a year. And it was becoming difficult to pay for ourselves and pay for a smaller team. Building a team, I will try and touch upon that topic. Building a team for new media and transdisciplinary projects are very very difficult. It's a very difficult task, but it worked out. But
Hmm.
after 2015 types, we picked up the pace. And think a lot of things changed in India. Like I say, luck is also required. So digitization after the Modi government, primarily, it took the pace in India. And everywhere they
Hmm.
wanted digital exhibits, they wanted digital services, they wanted digital infrastructure. So everybody started investing in digital, and that's how digital agency like us got more opportunities. And now
Hmm.
things are like fabulously better. How we have picked up, obviously the road is
Nice.
long, road is ahead us. But from where we started to now, I didn't actually expect it to, I to be here, or having a 60 strong team, like a stable company, proper company running, not like a couple of just young grads and because it was started like that only, like a couple of friends
Hmm.
I took a lot of help from friends like Shubram, your senior.
Hmm. Shubhrampun,
Shubram
yeah.
Pon, he also contributed a lot in the initial days. So it was just like a couple of young people sitting together trying to do projects. But luckily, we hung on to it, and now it's happening for us. It's working out well.
Luck definitely it plays a huge role, but definitely just to keep going on that chosen path, no, I think it also requires so many, it requires guts because when you don't know the destination and you just have to keep going on that chosen path, so that is the credit you should give it to yourself, because you and Fawaz, both of you, because it's very easy to stop at a moment and then give up on that journey.
No,
It's
no,
very
correct,
easy
correct. And
now.
there were times, honestly speaking, there were times when we did discuss this is not working out, what we should do. But
Hmm.
again, I would say that luckily, it was not the end of the road. We always said, let's look for another 1 month. Let's see if things could work out. And
Hmm.
having a co-founder is very, very helpful, because then you have someone to vent out your feelings to, and vice versa. So it has helped
Right.
us move past those initial couple of years. And then learning business, I feel designers should have a proper subject of business, because
Yes.
invoicing, accounting, business structuring, what codes can. So business requires design managers. It just doesn't require designer. Designer से कुछ नहीं
Hmm.
होता यार. Designer is the
Exactly.
person who will just make the chair, who will sell the chair,
Hmm.
who will brand the chair, who will market the chair, who will deliver the
Exactly.
chair. वो तो कोई बताता ही नहीं है. And I
Right.
feel अगर वो, if we would have learned that at NID, I would have saved like couple of years outside NID. But going through that grind for next 4 or 5 years, learning how business is actually structured, how we feel is कि
Hmm.
अरे हम खुद कर लेंगे, हम ही सब बन जाएंगे, ऐसा नहीं होता. You need a marketeer. The marketeer's
Right.
job is to market your services. वो समझने में 5 साल लग गए. And you waste so much of
Actually,
time,
yeah.
that if I have to train someone, I will start with these fundamentals of business, especially fundamentals
Hmm.
of design business, that just work on something that you're good at, which is design.
Hmm.
आई कैन डिजाइन एग्जिबिट्स. अभी मैं सब कुछ, अभी क्या हुआ है, 5 साल में मैंने सब सीख तो लिया. सो नाउ आई एम द चीफ मार्केटिंग ऑफिसर ऑल्सो, चीफ बिजनेस ऑफिसर ऑल्सो. बट it's a 5 years wasted also.
Yeah, actually, you touched upon a really good point, because I think designers, by inherent nature,
Hmm.
we are thinkers, right? Like we study so much about design thinking. We try to understand the psychology. Like we have that design thinking capability. Then why not think about like expand that thinking and also learn about the business part of it? I think designers can be an excellent business leader, but unfortunately in colleges they don't have any leadership oriented courses.
Correct,
Everybody is trained to do a job or become an employee eventually.
correct,
you know
correct, correct,
I
correct.
think
And
if somebody from education system is listening to this, I think they should uh, provoke more design leaders,
no,
because I think
both are slightly different but very important. Leadership and team building, and just business understanding, how to structure a design business, and
hmm,
how to build a team, and what are the qualities of a leader. ये दोनों बहुत अलग अलग
right,
चीजें हैं, but they are such a
hmm,
important ingredient of running a successful team. बहुत सारे डिजाइनर्स मैंने देखे हैं जो कि बहुत सारे ईगो में चलते हैं, because they are great designers, but great designers don't make great
hmm,
companies. It's actually
right,
a average manager, or a, I would say, great manager and an average designer who can make a great company. Because not
wow,
every time you have to be amazing at your work. You just need to solve the problem. अभी मेरा एक दरवाजा है, वो मेरे को बहुत ही
hmm.
बढ़िया चाहिए और बढ़िया से चलना चाहिए. अब उसका क्या डेफिनेशन है? अब तुम उससे
uh,
बनाते बनाते तो कुछ भी बना सकते हो, कि मैं ऐसे आंख करूं और
मास्टरपीस
दरवाजा
बना
खुल
दोगे.
जाए. ठीक है, देयर इज अ लिमिट टू व्हाट यू. सो डिजाइन का ये भी मतलब है टू आइडेंटिफाई the magnitude of solution which is required.
Hmm.
Sometimes I see designers go overboard. There's this huge ego कि हम तो बड़े डिजाइनर है, तो आप बड़े डिजाइनर हो तो आप टाइम वेस्ट भी तो कर रहे हो ओवरऑल.
Exactly. Yeah,
तो
that's true.
ये सारी चीजें एक
Oh.
इंडस्ट्री में बहुत ही प्रिविलेंट है हमारी अभी तो. एंड बिजनेसेस का अंडरस्टैंडिंग बिल्कुल भी नहीं है.
Mm. Wow, awesome. So I wanna, congratulate you for creating a design business out of that new media design education you had. So that is quite commendable. And tell me something.
Yeah.
Why did you choose the name Digital Jalebi? first of all, let me say it's an amazing name. It's very catchy. It has a huge recall value. Like, yesterday when we were speaking on the phone,
Hmm.
my wife just heard about Digital Jalebi and she was curious right after that, and she asked me, like, what is that? And I said, that's the name of his company. And she was like, that's a beautiful name. That's an amazing name, right? So tell me the story of that name.
Yeah, I people keep on asking me this question, and I have created so many versions of the story. But honestly speaking,
Uh,
this was around 2012, mid 2012. आप लोग, you were also in
okay.
college at that time with us. So I was thinking of naming a studio. At that time, 100% idea नहीं था कि खोलना ही खोलना है because diploma चल रहा था. But and
Hmm.
since I come from northern part of India, I had this attraction toward जलेबी. I thought जलेबी तो बहुत अच्छा नाम है. और
Hmm.
उसके आगे digital, because we are completely digital in our approach. Everything that we will do in I will do in my
Is
life
digital.
actually will be digital. So I thought digital जलेबी रखते हैं, and इसका credit फवाज को भी जाता है that he quickly agreed. He said हाँ अच्छा है digital जलेबी. Then I went for my diploma presentation. हो गया
Okay.
diploma presentation, everything's good, मैं young designer बन गया. So then these guys,
Uh,
Deval Karthik was there, Jignesh was there, and there was this Mr. Ripple Kumar, काफी बड़े UI UX
okay.
designer है. These guys asked me, what do you plan to do? I said, I'll start a studio. They asked me कि नाम क्या रखोगे? I said, Digital Jalebi. Then Jignesh said, ये क्या बच्चों वाला नाम है, तो ये तो नहीं चलेगा. तो I said, यार अब क्या करें? मैं तो बड़ा, क्योंकि he was like, जिग्नेश ने बोल दिया means बोल दिया. But then I thought कि नहीं यार
uh,
यही नाम चलाते हैं. And I have to tell you that this has worked tremendously well for us. So sometimes just believe in yourself. You're true.
yeah.
मैं when I was in college, I was introvert, slightly immature also. I learned a lot of things in that college. But जो the fragrance of me you will find in
Hmm.
digital jalebi also. That's what individuality is. Means अभी मैं कैसा भी हूँ, वैसा ही नाम में भी आया, और वो नाम इतना अच्छा वर्क किया. बिकॉज अगर मैं बहुत पूछता किसी को, if I would have gone
Hmm.
around and asked people ki what should be the name of a digital studio, we would have
Hmm.
ended ourselves into something like a Infosys. तो अच्छा है बच गए. And it has worked tremendously well for us, everybody. And having interface with CEOs, MDs of companies over the years, it works fabulously well. The task जो होता है नाम का, having a title name to your company, and the task is that people should remember it. They should remember those
Exactly.
guys, Jalebi guys. It
Exactly.
does its job 100% every time.
Jalebi guys. That's very nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Call the Jalebi guys.
हाँ, always people, a lot of senior people would use such a statement, and it keeps the conversation हमेशा light hearted सा रहता है.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
it shows in your given ki they see me as one of the co-founder of the company leading the team, and then they look
Hmm.
at the name, they look at our backgrounds, they feel more comfortable about it. There's nothing serious about digital jalebi. That doesn't mean that we are not trustworthy. We are
Yes.
not overboard, like over serious. We're people who will
Exactly.
take up your project, do all the
You're
right
balanced.
things, and then
Yeah.
deliver.
Exactly. The right amount of balance is there.
Yes,
Wow,
yes.
man. Awesome. Awesome name. So let's talk about your latest projects. You have been sharing the visuals of this project, and it's about something very fascinating, which gives a glimpse of future. So it's a metaverse project which you are doing for ESPN.
Correct,
They have their Crick Info platform, which
correct,
was majorly for cricket scores,
correct.
and you are creating a very nice and appealing interactive experience, a metaverse experience for the Crick Info. So tell me more about that. What is that project?
Okay, so we've been exploring. We've worked with channels before also, uh, television channels and all. This time when ESPN and we started speaking about revamping Crick Info, I think the buzzword, and they only came up with the brief of let's do a metaverse. Now a metaverse is understanding. First of all, let's understand what metaverse is.
Right, exactly.
Metaverse, ideally, it is, and it's not a definition by Zuckerberg or a definition by someone else. It's a definition that I've realized over the years. I've seen the transformation of digital platform. Metaverse is meant to be a digital world which will go hand in hand with the physical world. So if you buy clothes in the real world, if you buy clothes in the virtual world, can you have some piece of it in the real world? So it's like building a more strong infrastructure of virtual world that works well
Hmm.
with your real world also goes hand in hand. That's largely the expectation. Now when we start revisualizing how a crick info would be, people try and look at a score, constantly check scores. That's the understanding. But how can we leverage a platform better? Can we make, so if Saket and I both are looking at the score at the same time, so
Hmm.
अभी हम बचपन में क्या करते थे, we used to go to a say नुक्कड़ पे चाय वाला or someone, if we were not around our house and we will just ask कि स्कोर क्या चल
Exactly.
रहा है, तो चार लोग वहां पे मैच देख रहे होते थे पहले से ही, और वो स्कोर बताएंगे, या अगर रेडियो चल रहा है
Right.
तो वो स्कोर बताएंगे, स्कोर बताने के बाद डायलॉग भी मारेंगे, यार सचिन तो निपट
Out.
गया, सचिन तो सस्ते में निकल गया। तो थोड़ा सा क्रिटिक भी हो जाएगा, एवरीबडी हैव देयर ओपिनियन अबाउट
Exactly.
क्रिकेट आल्सो, एंड वी यूज्ड टू आल्सो
Nice.
कंट्रीब्यूट टू दैट, यार खेलता ही नहीं है, कुछ नहीं, रन रेट नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं है आजकल तो। So building on those
True.
ideas, I think metaverse responsibility that the metaverse has is to give an opportunity for people to meet in virtual environments in a more human way. Can two fans
Hmm.
have their avatars, enter a quick info metaverse, look at the score, look at some video recordings and all, and also talk to each other? Can they
Wow.
create more opportunities of engagement? Can they play games? uh, can I challenge you? अब मैंने बोला यार साकिब तेरे को बहुत नॉलेज है, चल नॉलेज चेक करते हैं। बचपन में वो कार्ड्स आते थे क्रिकेट के, उसमें ना मैं रन रेट भी याद करता था सचिन का, छोटे छोटे बबल गम के साथ कार्ड्स वगैरह
Yes,
आते
yes,
थे।
yes.
So
Yeah.
now people who are ardent fans of cricket, they remember everything, किसका डेब्यू कब हुआ, किसने वो सेंचुरी कब मारा था, सबको पता है सहवाग ने
True.
ट्रिपल हंड्रेड मारा था, मुल्तान का सुल्तान एंड एवरीथिंग। तो can we play on that fact? Can we leverage, nurture those fans? Can we make them
Hmm.
spend more time with our brand? Because that's the value. Our brand is all about cricket right now. ESPN as a
Right.
sports channel is all about cricket. So they would
True.
want people to associate more with them. They would want people to
Hmm.
celebrate cricket at their platform. That's what they do. And plus usme jo advertisements वगैरह, because when people spend more time at a channel, TV channel, they get to see the ads.
Hmm.
That's how the revenue comes. When people will get to spend more time in metaverse by these virtue of these engagements, we will show them more ads, we will generate revenue. So this is
Wow.
this is why, that's why I say that right now whatever work Digital Jalebi is doing is generating true value for their customers. It's not like a
Hmm.
indirect very long shot value ki kar diya kuch client ko acha dikhane ke liye. Everything is centered
Hmm.
around their core business, which is increasing revenue channels and all. And we are spending more time. Hopefully we'll work with them in future also. We'll build a more like we'll build more modules inside the same metaverse so that engagement is higher. और technology भी बहुत fast pace पे change हो रहा है, web technologies. So interesting part about this metaverse is it's completely web based, no downloads are
Hmm.
required, and it is mobile friendly. So a lot of metaverses around the world right now either are downloadable apps which people shy away from, or they are constrained to desktop or 2D environments
Hmm.
like a larger screen. But this time one of
Right.
the core briefs where our user experience designers, where our developers have to work really hard, is optimization and building an experience
Hmm.
for mobile first users. Because हमारे पास जो insights है, and that is how insights really help us. Our insights show even clients understand that most of the people who are looking at scores are always on the run, like they're outside their
Hmm.
home. So they are always using mobile devices. So you have to build something engaging on mobile for them. That becomes even trickier because 2D UI banana mobile पे is far easier than 3D worlds banana और उसमें engagement banana. So we are
Crazy.
constantly, our teams go into these uncharted waters. Not always are we successful. I won't shamelessly sort of claim कि सब successful है, सब चंगा है. Sometimes we also face challenges, but the best part is
Of
that we
course.
learn a lot with every massive
Hmm.
client. Hundreds and thousands of people look at these apps. We get so much of feedback that we become even better at doing these things in future.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah.
And I have seen the visuals. They look exciting enough, and they're gonna be definitely very, very nice. And I can't wait to see that, fully developed, that metaverse where, you can go buy stuff and look at
I
other
hope so.
placards and
I hope
advertisements
so.
and
In
all that.
coming future, in couple of years, we'll
Awesome.
have a
It
lot
will
of.
happen.
We'll buy bikes also in metaverse. सब कुछ होगा.
Of
Everything.
course, hoga. Actually, I don't remember now, but I think TVS or Hero, they already did that
Virtual showroom.
launch in the metaverse.
Metaverse
I think
launches,
TVS did
virtual
that.
showroom. Yes. Now the
Yeah.
task is to make it part of a continuous economy. Like right now, these are like
Hmm.
singular events कि launch कर दिया या एक showroom बना
और
के
छोड़
दिखा
दिया.
दिया. But can there be
Hmm.
literally a, and that's what Meta was trying to do, is trying to do actually, is to make a world
Hmm.
where people can own showrooms, brands can own showrooms,
Exactly.
and literally every
Hmm.
day, just like we walk into malls around us, you can walk
Hmm.
into a virtual showroom.
Cool. Okay, now that we are talking about all this Web3, Metaverse, and all that, in recent times, we are going through a recession now, and that crypto hype or NFT and Metaverse hype, there was a time when Meta announced their name
Yeah,
change from Facebook to
correct,
Meta,
correct.
and then things went
Skyrocketed.
viral.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything skyrocketed,
Yes.
right? And now that that
That the
excitement has
dip
gone
is
down.
completely, we are into a bear market time. Yes.
Exactly. So right now, the sentiment, if you call that, it's so negative because of so many negative news and FUD, as they call it, because of so many FUD coming around. uh, do you, like, there are two set of people now. Like, one is who are like very much pro believers of this metaverse and web3, whereas there is another set of people who are considering this as a gimmick,
Hmm.
or short term thing which will die over the years. So you being involved with the projects like this, what is your opinion? What is your instinct about all this? What will happen to this metaverse concept?
Okay, so these are slightly different things, all of them. So
Okay.
metaverse is primarily about giving you a virtual parallel self or a virtual parallel life. You can have an avatar. So today Saket is a 5 feet 8 inches guy, thin. Okay, he comes from Marathi background, lives in Pune.
Hmm.
This is your identity. You carry it with yourself. But in a virtual self, you could be anyone. You could be a 8 feet guy, like a humongous guy who
Hmm.
has this huge thing for fashion and not bikes. In the real world, you are a bike wala banda. But in the
Oh, have you
virtual,
seen this?
yeah,
Sorry
yeah,
to
yeah.
interrupt. Have you seen this movie Ready Player One?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have seen Ready Player One. Exactly, exactly.
So
So
I think what you are
all these are actually how metaverse people are imagining. But the idea of metaverse is to allow you to live in a parallel universe, express yourself
Hmm.
way beyond how you've been constrained by the social structure and
Awesome.
physical
Hmm.
अपीयरेंस ऑफ योरसेल्फ तो वो एक
Exactly.
बहुत डिफरेंट कॉन्सेप्ट है व्हेन इट कम्स टू ब्लॉकचेन जहां से सारा तुम्हारा एनएफटीज आता है एंड देन द क्रिप्टो ओके सो ब्लॉकचेन इज अ ब्यूटीफुल कॉन्सेप्ट इट्स नॉट गोइंग एनीवेयर द आइडिया ऑफ having a completely independent infrastructure that can verify ownership of anything is beautiful.
Hmm.
It's not governed by a bank, it's not governed by a government, it's global.
Hmm.
For example, let's pick up banking. The huge problem with banking is everybody has a fear that the bank might go bankrupt himself. And that's happening for a lot of
Hmm.
smaller banks in India. And internationally, it has happened. So, whatever you earn right now, it's only governed by our government. So if you have 10 lakh rupees in an SBI, only when government of India and SBI agree tomorrow morning, then you have 10 lakhs. There is no other way that
Oh,
somebody
right.
can guarantee 10 lakhs.
Exactly.
Correct.
Uh,
But in a decentralized world, things cannot be changed. So once you own 10 lakhs somewhere, which the currency is in form of tokens, which is your cryptocurrency, everybody agrees. Hundreds and thousands of computers agrees to the fact that Saket owns this money, and tomorrow if the government in India change or some huge change
hmm.
comes in SBI or whatever, nothing's gonna change here. Because when
Hmm.
you decentralize things, cause and effect on in India or a Indian subcontinent will not affect what happens to your crypto balances and all. ये एक चीज है. The problem with cryptocurrency was uh, that the overhype people overhyped cryptocurrency. The entire value was uh, completely inflated, and the infrastructure is not that strong. So people, just like the broker market, the stock market that we have, people
Hmm.
are able to manipulate things and change value. So today you have a uh, Doge coin, like, which is like
Hmm.
nothing, and it skyrockets just because Elon Musk writes something on Twitter.
Tweeted about it.
It skyrockets. So the infrastructure on which this entire the core principles still are not controlled. Since it is not controlled by government, people are able to abuse that. And right now how it
Hmm.
has declined, I think it's just a correction. Everybody is using the term correction. So it's a correction in
Hmm.
that inflated value. It does have a true intrinsic value. Both Bitcoin, Ethereum, any other coin, they have intrinsic value. But the cost at which I also lost a lot of money though. but but the cost at which we were buying at the hype was not the true value. And the correction,
Right.
because people started abusing the system, they were able to manipulate,
Hmm.
bring the cost of tokens up and down. We realized that the corrected value is now this, and maybe it will further correct itself. Because abhi kya hai, abhi to
Hmm.
dunia, Ukraine and everything पूरे घुट्टों पे, like right now everything is getting corrected. Startups का
Right.
valuation is getting corrected. ये तुम्हारा क्रिप्टो करेंसी इज गेटिंग कनेक्टेड, ऑयल प्राइसेस आर
Yes.
गेटिंग करेक्टेड, like everything that was inflated is going to correct. So but this is merely correction. Cryptocurrency is a proper concept. It will, once it reaches its fair value, it is a good investment. And cryptocurrency plus blockchain is a good way of transactions in some kind of settings.
So I quite kind of agree with you, and I am also a firm believer of blockchain technology and this metaverse. I think it's not gonna go anywhere. It's just a correction, as you said rightly.
जब
It's just
भी
a
कुछ ना,
correction.
if something is regulated by a government, that also means that it can be corrupted very easily, which means एक बहुत
Exactly.
अच्छा example मैंने पढ़ा था, that a lot of social sector organization in UN in Africa, when they're giving grants, they're kind of using something like a blockchain. So they can't give money because
Hmm.
money किसको मिलता है क्या मिलता है पता ही नहीं चलता, and since money is
Hmm.
controlled by the government, it corruption will happen. So in the case of blockchain, since everybody is verifying whether things have reached the person or not, till the time आप उसको
Hmm.
use ही नहीं कर सकते.
Exactly.
So if the money, if this one note is meant for Saket, इतना simple example है. If this
Hmm.
one 500 rupees note is meant for Saket, only and only Saket can use it. अगर ऐसा हो जाए, तो there is no way कि money corrupt हो, पैसा
There
चोरी
is
भी नहीं
no
हो सकता, चोरी हो क्यों,
चोरी भी नहीं हो सकता.
चोरी. So this is what decentralization, tokenization will be able to do, and NFTs भी कुछ वैसा ही concept है, singularly owned something, non fungible tokens. Increasingly
Hmm.
इंडिया में startups आ रहे हैं जो कि नॉन फंजिबल टोकन, छोटी छोटी चीजें, इवन आपका जो स्कोर है गेम में, अभी मैं क्या है,
Hmm.
मैं माइनक्राफ्ट खेल रहा हूँ, मेरा स्कोर है 25,000, कल सुबह उठा नहीं है स्कोर, स्कोर तो चला गया सर्वर से. तो सो यू
Hmm.
आर एबल टू नाउ टोकनाइज इट, विच मीन्स माइनक्राफ्ट का क्लाउड सर्वर डजंट ओन्स इट, इट इज टोकनाइज
Hmm.
समवेयर एल्स. यू कैन गो बैक टू माइनक्राफ्ट केस भी कर सकते हो, बिकॉज उसका एनएफटी बना
Hmm.
दिया है, उनको पता है कि ये चीज 100% अचीवमेंट है. और ये जो ओनरशिप होता है, एक लास्ट चीज आई वांट टू शेयर, all of this
Hmm.
end में boils down to experience design and human psyche. What's happening is I buy a Ferrari. अभी मेरे को इंडिया में इतना तो ड्राइव करना नहीं होता, बट इफ आई बाय अ फरारी, मैं क्यों करूंगा, शो ऑफ के लिए. इट्स अ
Hmm.
रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ माय स्टेचर, माय इकोनॉमिक
Hmm.
एबिलिटी, माय फाइनेंशियल पावर. नाउ द सेम थिंग, एंड सिंस आई हैव अ फरारी, एवरीबडी इन माय सोसाइटी अप्रूव्स दैट निखिल हैज अ फरारी. वो एविडेंस
Hmm.
है, ठीक है, कि मेरे पास फरारी है.
Right.
ओके, exactly the
Hmm.
same cheese NFT and blockchain allows us to do in virtual world. In virtual world, if you buy a car, everybody will
Hmm.
verify that you only have that car, not because तुमने उसके
Exactly.
अगेंस्ट में क्रिप्टो करेंसी पे किया है. So you have
Hmm.
that social stature thing even in virtual worlds, because पहले
Hmm.
पहले ऐसा था ही नहीं कोई ब्लॉकचेन जैसा चीज जो कि इस तरीके से वेरीफाई करे. सो राइट नाउ क्या हो रहा है, a lot of virtual platforms are there where people are buying crazy stuff which are just virtual badges, just
Yeah.
virtual
Yeah.
badges,
Yeah.
कुछ नहीं है.
Yeah.
But why are they buying it? फॉर द स्टेचर ऑफ इट,
Status.
स्टेटस सिंबल.
Yeah.
और वो स्टेटस सिंबल का सेंस अभी परफेक्ट, अभी मैं तेरे को बोलूं कि तेरे पास हीरा है, घर में एक हीरा लाके रख
Hmm.
दे 100 करोड़ रुपए, क्या फर्क पड़ता है,
Hmm.
हीरा ही तो है. नहीं,
Yeah.
सेम हीरा तू
Yeah.
वर्चुअल वर्ल्ड में भी स्ट्रेचर की तरह हो सकता है, किसी और के पास नहीं होगा. एवरीबॉडी विल
It's
से
basically.
साकेत के पास है, क्योंकि ब्लॉकचेन उसे अप्रूव कर रहा है. तो ह्यूमन साइकोलॉजी
Yeah.
पे भी बेस्ड है ब्लॉकचेन. ब्लॉकचेन
Hmm.
जैसे हम लोग सोसाइटी में किसी चीज को अप्रूव डिसअप्रूव करते हैं, अग्री करते हैं, एक्सेप्ट करते हैं,
Hmm.
वैसे ही ब्लॉकचेन भी सोसाइटी का ही एक रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है, अ लार्जर सोसाइटी
Hmm.
व्हिच डजंट कंट्रोल्स अंडर परव्यू ऑफ वन गवर्नमेंट.
Right, exactly. And I think it's all demand and supply. For example, as you said, अगर कोई हीरा है, क्योंकि उसकी डिमांड है इसीलिए वो मतलब हीरे की वैल्यू है
एग्जैक्टली.
आज. अगर वो मतलब जैसे यू आर गिविंग एग्जांपल ऑफ बैचेस, सो एक क्रिप्टो पंक करके जो एनएफटी है, सो
करेक्ट.
उसकी डिमांड थी इसीलिए पीपल आर स्पेंडिंग मिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर ऑन जस्ट वन जेपेग इमेज
जेपेग इमेज,
जो
दैट्स
सिर्फ
इट.
ट्विटर पे एक प्रोफाइल पिक्चर लगा रहे.
एग्जैक्टली.
बट इट्स अ डिमांड,
But
इट्स अ
everybody
स्टेटस
is,
सिंबल.
look, everybody is talking about it. Everybody
एग्जैक्टली.
in Pune will talk about your 100 crore ka hira. So same thing is happening on Twitter. But look at the scale of Twitter.
एग्जैक्टली.
Look at the
यूएस
value
में भी
that
वो उसकी
person, हाँ,
वैल्यू है.
PR क्या derive होता है डिजिटल में, जो
एग्जैक्टली.
स्केल होता है वो मैसिव है in comparison to the
हम्म.
physical world.
एग्जैक्टली.
तो प्लस दिस इज इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ गवर्नमेंट्स, तो इनकम टैक्स नहीं आ सकता, कुछ नहीं आ सकता, किसी को कुछ पता नहीं चलता,
या.
वॉलेट का एड्रेस सब अनोनिमस होता है. द सेवरल थिंग्स वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. एंड ये सब इंक्रीजिंगली फ्यूचर डिजाइनर्स को, चाहे वो किसी भी फील्ड के हों, दे हैव टू learn to design in tandem with new technologies like AR, VR, new technologies like
हम्म.
blockchain, like AI. इससे फैशन डिजाइन इंडिपेंडेंट नहीं है, इससे ऑटोमोटिव डिजाइन इंडिपेंडेंट नहीं है, इससे फर्नीचर डिजाइन इंडिपेंडेंट नहीं है, इससे कुछ भी अब इंडिपेंडेंट नहीं रह गया। हर डिजाइनर
Hmm.
को किसी लेवल पे डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजीज के साथ ही इन टैंडम विद डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजीज ही हैज टू डिजाइन,
Right.
ये करना ही पड़ेगा।
Wow. Awesome, awesome, man. Actually, I didn't think कि हमारा ये podcast इतना deep, इतना in depth चला जाएगा. Business. We discussed about business. We discussed about how designers can, consider business thinking and skills around it. फिर हमने blockchain technology से लेके metaverse तक बात कर ली. Wow, this has become a powerful podcast.
Yes.
Uh, Coming to the final part of this podcast,
Hmm.
like you have already gave so many suggestions and advices, but if you want to consolidate it to like one or two suggestions or advices
Hmm.
for the young generation or people who want to do something like what you are doing,
Hmm.
right? So do you have any kind of words of wisdom for those guys?
I think yes, I have actually. I would say be inquisitive about things. Try and understand. Try and appreciate everything around you. Try and appreciate people from different statures of life, how they work, how they stand, what
Mm,
they do, how they speak. Try and appreciate, observe everything. I think that's the database that will be helpful in designing anything in terms of design. और वो
mm,
एक ऐसी चीज है जिसको तुम डिजाइन स्कूल में सीख नहीं सकते, वो तुम्हें खुद करना है,
right.
इट्स इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ डिजाइन स्कूल। एंड एप्रिसिएशन के साथ ह्यूमिलिटी होना, बिकॉज वंस यू हैव ह्यूमिलिटी देन यू कैन अप्रिशिएट थिंग्स, वो अदर वे राउंड नहीं चलता है। तो आपको
Mm,
पहले थोड़ा सा थोड़ा सा चीज़ों को समझ के अपने से ऊपर रख के इज्जत दे के तब आप उसको एक्चुअली अप्रिशिएट करना ऑटोमेटिकली सीखते हो। लेकिन मेक एन एफर्ट कि आप जानबूझ के ऑब्जर्व भी करो। नॉट अप्रिसिएशन डजंट मीन
mm,
कि आप हर जगह ऑब्जर्व भी करोगे। सो एक ग्लास है,
mm,
ग्लास को मैंने अप्रिशिएट किया, क्या बढ़िया डिजाइन है, बट क्या मैंने उसे उठा के ये देखा इसका वेट कितना है, ग्लास क्या नीचे ज्यादा है उन्होंने वॉल्यूम डाला है। इस
mm,
दिस इज कॉल्ड ऑब्जर्वेशन। सो अप्रिसिएशन के बाद भी ऑब्जर्वेशन भी रह जाता है, जो भी डिजाइनर को करना चाहिए। बिकॉज देन इन फ्यूचर इफ ही इज वर्किंग विद ग्लास ही विल स्लोली बिल्ड अ गट फीलिंग अबाउट ग्लास। कोई ग्लास उठाया, पूछ लिया ये
exactly.
कौन सा ग्लास है, ये लाइम ग्लास है, कैसा होता है, किसी से सवाल कर लिया। ये एक दिन में नहीं होता है। एंड इफ यू थिंक यू विल गेट
Mm,
अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम डूइंग रिसर्च व्हाइल योर प्रोजेक्ट्स आर, ऐसा नहीं होता है। we get 2 hours at
mm,
times to give an idea. And best, and I am not just speaking for myself, I work with a lot of designers, huge designers also. I have seen how design actually works, ठीक है? But that doesn't mean you're not researching. Your constant research is your
mm,
life. The way you lead your life is your research, and when the time comes you quickly give an output. So yeah, do this. And I think design education होना ना होना वो सबके लिए शायद available ना हो वो option. Maybe somebody ends up doing an engineering and not doing design
mm,
after that, which is okay. Appreciation towards products around you, problem solving, कोई है तुम्हारे पास, कोई product देखा उसने कुछ solve किया, उसको appreciate करना। And then उसको लेके अपना भी responsibility समझना कि if that I'm developing a product, I'm trying to put up a team together, I will try and work on things that are for large masses, that are not for the next
mm.
door आंटी जी की, बस एक आंटी जी का कुछ ठीक करके दे दिया। वो नहीं, डिजाइनर का जॉब बहुत है, डिजाइनर का जॉब है प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करना और उसको मासेस तक लेके जाना। समटाइम्स बहुत
Mm,
सारे एनआईटी वाले डिजाइनर क्या करते हैं ना, ब्रिलियंट प्रोजेक्ट्स, न्यूज़पेपर में आएगा सब कुछ होगा, बट हाउ मेनी पीपल एक्चुअली यूज द प्रोडक्ट। एक
exactly.
बाइक मासेस के लिए बनाना और एक बाइक टीएडी के स्टूडियो में बनाना, दोनों में बहुत डिफरेंस है।
बहुत
तो वो
डिफरेंस है.
आपका रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है टू गो फॉर मासेस, बिल्ड अ टीम,
Hmm.
गेट कपल ऑफ डिजाइनर्स विद यू, वर्क फॉर एक्चुअल प्रोजेक्ट्स जिससे किसी का लाइफ चेंज हो, कहीं पे वैल्यू एडिशन हो। वो है, दैट्स द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी। जस्ट डूइंग गुड डिजाइन इन योर हाउस एंड पोस्टिंग इट ऑन सोशल मीडिया, दिस इज नॉट डिजाइन।
Wouldn't help. On that powerful note, wow, Nikhil, it's been an amazing 1 hour of discussion. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thanks for sharing, all your wisdom and learnings through your, last 10 years of churning and, roller coaster journey. I had a lot of fun. I learned so many things, and I couldn't be more happy to finish this podcast on that powerful words of wisdom concluding note. So thanks for doing this with me.
Thank you, Saket, for inviting me. I thoroughly enjoyed, like, speaking about design, especially to someone you have learned design with, and then uh, like you appreciating all, because once you work in industry, you start appreciating design entrepreneurship efforts. वो होता नहीं है
Exactly.
college में, like.
Exactly.
So I really love speaking to people who have now more understanding of how difficult design is, how difficult it is to build projects and take them to the world. And hopefully people who look at this video will understand. I'm happy to you can drop in my email ID while you're posting this podcast. I'm happy to connect to
Sure.
people, talk to them if they're younger students who want to connect with me. More than happy.
I'll put I'll put all your handles, Digital Jalebi
Yeah,
website, and
please
things
do
like
that.
that in the description.
Please
People
do that.
can approach you on social media.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. Let's conclude. Thanks for doing
Thank you,
this.
man.
I'll see you